Hello, this is Don Klein. This is my Heineken case study presentation for my business Capstone 794. This is Heineken's international strategies with international expansion. To increase market size, Heineken over the last decade or close to 2 decades has been expanding globally in purchasing breweries in Russia, Austria, Scotland, Mexico, Singapore, and expanding capacity in Africa from 2 facilities that they had purchased from the Ethiopian government. Another strategy is to expand growth, and they have been doing so with over 100 with Heineken brands in over 100 countries around the world, while growing awareness of their lesser-known brands as well. Heineken has also used what they call arbitrage, which is the ability to produce premium beers cheaply in their parent country and then sell them at a higher cost in other countries. Some of the risks of expansion and how Heineken has mitigated that is, obviously political and cultural climates. In the beer industry, obviously, as in any other industry, people have specific tastes for what those types of beers are that they like. Heineken has purchased specific breweries in those countries to be able to produce that type of beer. They have also had in Ethiopia, they had the Prime Minister of Ethiopia present at the opening of their Ethiopian facility. So this, shows the people of the country that the Ethiopian government is behind Heineken. This was really smart marketing. How they mitigate some of the economic climate risks is that other breweries such as S.A.B. Miller and InBev, Anheuser-Busch, they were merging, forming huge global companies. The U.S. recession hurt beer sales in the United States, and probably some of that recession spilled out over into other countries globally, and it hurt beer sales. And then, Heineken is perceived by younger drinkers as an old or obsolete type of brand. So what they did was introduce a premium light beer to appeal to that younger audience. They also developed specific marketing strategies to appeal to certain demographics like Hispanics. They spent a lot of money in marketing in South America and Mexico to develops Hispanic-specific commercials and advertising campaigns, and their management, which we'll see in just a few minutes in a few slides, their type of international expansion technique. They consolidated their executive leadership into 5 operating regions with several functions within those regions. Their executive committee was cut from in 1/3 from 36 members to just 12, and then they have a 10-member supervisory board that is rotated regularly that makes most of the innovative and critical decision making. So what type of strategy does or should Heineken use? International, global, or transnational, multi-domestic. As you see from this matrix, the pressures for global integration and local responsiveness in each category. And Heineken specifically uses the international strategy, which has been pursued by adapting the parent company's knowledge and expertise of brewing beer into these foreign markets. So basically what happens is that these foreign companies that they've bought up or expanded in the case of Africa, Ethiopia, they're allowed to make probably minor changes, or in the case of the marketing decisions in Mexico with their Hispanic specific marketing ideas. They can probably make small changes to those ideas, but really all of the major decisions come from the supervisory board in the Netherlands. And the goal of this is for worldwide exploitation with the core competencies centralized at the parent company in Amsterdam. But the risk of such a strategy is that, different activities in the value chain could be or should be located in various locations. Unfortunately, in the international strategy, this fails to take advantage of those benefits by optimally diversifying that value chain, which means that Heineken could have R&D facilities in various locations around the world, or different marketing in different parts of the world, and but unfortunately most of those decisions come from the top, like I've said, in the Netherlands. Also, local responsiveness tends to be very low with this type of strategy, and it could result in alienating local customers. This type of strategy also produces the inability to be receptive of new ideas or new innovations from foreign markets or subsidiaries, and it could lead to missed opportunities. Heineken, before this global expansion, even into today, has been able to export their brands throughout the world, U.S., Asia, Russia, Africa, South America, and even throughout Europe. Their premium beer Heineken is or was at one time the highest recognized beer brand in the United States. There was a study done that there was an unlabeled beer bottle that students, these students who were in the study, were asked to identify what brand of beer they thought it was just by the unlabeled bottle itself, and a high number of students picked the green bottle to be Heineken, which is a great marketing technique and awareness of Heineken in the United States. They've mitigated the potential risks of political, economic, and currency fluctuations by being able to export. It also has the advantage of mass producing with fewer facilities, with less cost of employees, fewer employees with obviously less cost, capital investments, with infrastructure and production facilities and administrative costs. And having subsidiaries is also a mode of expansion, which they've done through the mergers and acquisitions of these much smaller breweries that they purchased throughout the world. So some entrepreneurial strategy is that they have to find the opportunity in the first place. And how they've done that is through global expansion, first through buying smaller local breweries, and lately they've expanded that global strategy by acquiring larger, more well-known brands. And then they've capitalized on their resource opportunities by purchasing land and capital from foreign governments. They've realized their leadership opportunity by restructuring or reorganizing their executive level management, and still allowing the family to have some control over how the company is ran. They've tried to be an overall cost leader by acquiring all of these smaller breweries, existing facilities, without using capital investments to build those facilities around the world. And so they've created economies of scale and centralized those decisions at the corporate level without having as much administrative cost. It's hard to differentiate with the number of brands that are out there. So Heineken needs to be able to use that arbitrage to produce those cheaper foreign beers and export those to foreign markets and market those as premium brands and to be able to charge a higher price for those. There's also a large push in the craft beer market, especially in the United States, and that has been cutting into these large beer companies' market share, and that could be a problem in the future. So Heineken is still one of the largest breweries by volume in the world. I think they're the third largest in the world by volume. But they need to focus on their premium brands and develop a strategy to compete against these emerging craft beer brands. And although having the family control is good for the company in some aspects, it could also inhibit innovation, and they could miss a lot of opportunities if the family does not give up some of that control. So this is my conclusion to my Heineken case study. Thank you very much.